My name's Colonel Jeff Pixley. I'm the commander of basic military training. Thank you for joining the United States Air Force. Thank you for raising your hand and promising to give of yourself, to sacrifice, to do something that most Americans never do. You probably want to know how to be successful in basic military training. Fight for yourself. Don't give up on yourself. And when you're about to, work with each other, lean on each other, because you'll be successful when you are a team.
Remember why you are here. Remember those people that came before you. Everything that you do needs to come with a passion and a vigor that is unmatched.
When you leave basic military training, you're going to understand how to wear the uniform. You're going to understand what it is to live by the core values, and you're going to know the value of your teammates. If you live up to my expectations, you'll be here. 7 weeks from today, and you'll be about to graduate.
Castillo. Flight 575, led by Technical Sergeant William Snowden. In the center of the parade field is the color guard, led by Technical Sergeant Brian Hill. The flight selected to carry our national, state, and territorial flags is Flight 576 and Flight 577, led by Technical Sergeant Dale Bonnell. Flight 578, led by Staff Sergeant Nicholas Stedding. Flight 579, led by Technical Sergeant Dustin Payne. Flight 580, led by Technical Sergeant Nigel Cotton. Flight 581, led by Technical Sergeant Jake Schrader. Flights 582 and 583, led by Sergeant Jelani Alcott. At this time, please find a place to sit. Thank you, and enjoy today's ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of our official party. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the invocation given by Chaplain Lee.
As I pray according to my faith tradition, I encourage you to pray according to yours. Sovereign God, the maker and sustainer of all things, we thank you. We lift up all of our airmen and guardians here today, knowing that you are always with them. The temporary trial of BMT is now over, and their journey to fly, fight, and win truly begins. Bless them in their comings and their goings. Bless them in all that they set their hands to do. Bless them in every interaction that they experience. May your blessings follow them throughout their whole career. May each one of the airmen and guardians of the 326 Training Squadron and the 1st Delta Operations Squadron shine brightly and set an example of what it means to be an American airman and guardian. Be by their side, every step of the way, each and every day. In your mighty name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Lee. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's basic military training graduation ceremony. We would like to introduce our distinguished guests, beginning with the host for today's ceremony, the Commander, Air Force Basic Military Training, Colonel Jeff Pixley, accompanied by his wife, Andrea. The Acting Senior Enlisted Leader, Air Force Basic Military Training, Chief Master Sergeant Alan Frank. The Reviewing Official and Senior Enlisted Leader, the Chief of Research Programs at the Russia Strategic Initiative, Colonel Chris Forrest. The Command Chief, 316th Wing, Chief Master Sergeant Ezekiel Rice, accompanied by his wife, Demetrius. From the Graduating Squadron, the Commander, 326th Training Squadron, Lieutenant Colonel Nicholas Smith. The Senior Enlisted Leader, 326th Training Squadron, Chief Master Sergeant Antonia Cardona, accompanied by her husband, Fabian. The Commander, 1st Delta Operations Squadron, Detachment 1, Major Clinton Emery. The Senior Enlisted Leader, 1st Delta Operations Squadron, Detachment 1, Senior Master Sergeant Anthony Ray Chua. Also in attendance with us today, the Space Delta 1 Commander's Individual Mobilization Augmentee, Colonel Chris Victoria. The Senior Enlisted Leader, Space Operations Command, Chief Master Sergeant Jacob Simmons. Although time does not permit us to introduce all of our distinguished guests, the 737 Training Group is proud to welcome each of you. We hope you enjoy today's ceremony. Our Commander of Airmen is Technical Sergeant Joshua Jordan. Colonel Christopher Forrest will review today's ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing of the National Anthem. Thank you. Please be seated. Over the last 7.5 weeks, the men and women before you have transformed from civilians into motivated, disciplined, and warrior members with the foundation to serve in the most powerful military the world has ever known. Once they leave basic military training, they will continue on to technical training to learn the skills needed to perform in over 118 specialties. They will then move on to serve at one of over 84 installations around the globe, or work directly with our sister services. As they move on to technical training, they will continue to focus on adapting to military requirements, achieving occupational proficiency, and learning how to be highly productive members of the armed forces. These men and women will prepare for increased responsibilities and must ensure they are trained, qualified, and ready to deploy and operate in an expeditionary environment. These graduates are the future of our national defense and will pave the way for the generations that will follow. One of the hundreds of thousands of American citizens that enter the workforce each year, less than 1% have joined the ranks of the United States military. 737 Training Group, United States Air Force, Joint Base San Antonio, Lackland, Texas. Subject, Commander's Excellence. The Commander's Excellence Streamer is awarded to Flight 568 for their significant accomplishments demonstrating teamwork, excellence, and esprit de corps during the period of 11 July 2022 to 26 August 2022. Signed, Jeffrey Pixley, Colonel, United States Air Force. The Commander's Excellence Flight was led by Technical Sergeant Timothy Ashton and Master Sergeant Jasmine Allen. The graduates before you have reached a milestone in their military journey and will require your continued support to assist them in their future endeavors. Ladies and gentlemen, the graduates passing in review today represent a portion of the 35,000 men and women who will complete basic military training this year. The 737 Training Group provides all recruits the essential military training to become motivated members of the world's greatest air and space forces. The military training instructors are responsible for the indoctrination, development, and discipline of the airmen and guardians. They have dedicated endless hours to ensure all training objectives are met. Today's graduates have proven through academic studies, military training, physical training, and the development of teamwork that they are ready to take their place in the United States Armed Forces. As our graduates turn left onto the bomb run to pass and review, they will march over the enlisted heroes walk. The men and women recognized on the pavers have been awarded our nation's highest honors, representing heroic and unselfish actions as members of the United States military in armed conflict. Their decorations include 9 Medals of Honor, 23 Air Force Crosses, and 162 Silver Stars awarded for bravery during encounters with hostile enemy combatants. These enlisted heroes serve to inspire all service members to execute their duties courageously and with honor in their service to this great nation. We would like to direct your attention to our national, state, and territorial flags. As these flags pass in review, please stand and render the appropriate courtesies for our national flag. As a reminder, military members and veterans in uniform will stand at attention and render a salute. We ask that our civilian guests stand and place their right hand over their heart. Veterans and military members not in uniform may either render a salute or place their right hand over their heart. Once the flags have passed, please be courteous of others and be seated in order to allow all of our guests the opportunity to view the flights as they pass in review. Now passing in review, the Commander of Airmen, Technical Sergeant Joshua Jordan, Military Training Instructor Trainer, hometown, Indianapolis, Indiana. Commander's Excellence in Academic Excellence Flight 568, led by Technical Sergeant Timothy Ashley, Military Training Instructor Trainer, hometown, Bowling Green, Kentucky. Flight 569, led by Technical Sergeant Alexander Kenner, Military Training Instructor Trainer, hometown, Alabaster, Alabama. Flight 570, led by Technical Sergeant Timothy Perez, Military Training Instructor Trainer, hometown, Wyandotte, Michigan. Flight 571, led by Technical Sergeant Jessica Walker, Military Training Instructor, hometown, Ruston, Louisiana. Flight 572, led by Technical Sergeant Annika Dexter, Military Training Instructor, hometown, Ayanbito, New Mexico. Flight 573, led by Master Sergeant Aaron Grooms, Military Training Instructor, hometown, Decatur, Georgia. Flight 574, led by Technical Sergeant Richard Castillo, Military Training Instructor, hometown, New Braunfels, Texas. PT Excellence Flight 575, led by Technical Sergeant William Snowden, Military Training Instructor, hometown, Grand Terrace, California. The Color Guard, led by Technical Sergeant Brian Hill, Military Training Instructor, hometown, Fayetteville, North Carolina. The flight selected to carry our national, state, and territorial flags. Flight 562 and Flight 563, led by Technical Sergeant Cody Hopper, hometown Rancho Cordova, California. Flight 578, led by Staff Sergeant Nicholas Steady, military training instructor, hometown Belleville, Illinois. Flight 579, led by Technical Sergeant Dustin Payne, military training instructor, hometown Leavenworth, Kansas. Flight 580, led by Technical Sergeant Nigel Cotton, military training instructor, hometown Biloxi, Mississippi. Flight 581, led by Technical Sergeant Jake Schrader, military training instructor, hometown Northwood, Iowa. Flight 582 and 583, led by Sergeant Jelani Alcott, military training instructor, hometown Keawa, Hawaii. Ladies and gentlemen, rendering a flying salute to our graduated airmen and guardians with a T-6A Texan 2, call sign Prey 21 flight. Prey 21 flight is flown by Lieutenant Colonel Raleigh, Lieutenant Colonel Arnold, Lieutenant Colonel Capanavo, Captain Shabuk, and Major Raisin. Lieutenant Colonel Capanavo is a 1996 BMT graduate. These aircraft are from the 559th Flying Training Squadron, 12th Flying Training Wing, Randolph Air Force Base, Texas. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing of the Air Force song. Thank you. You may be seated. We would like to take a moment to congratulate all of our honor graduates as well as their families. Basic military training honor graduates distinguished themselves by being ranked in the top 10% of all graduates in their class. The exceptional personal dedication, integrity, and service before self and sustained excellence they displayed throughout basic military training earned them this outstanding distinction. As the flights march forward for the Oath of Enlistment, we would like to thank all the families and friends who were here in support of those graduating today. Your words of encouragement have helped motivate these graduates through 7.5 weeks of basic military training. On behalf of the United States military and basic military training, we extend our thanks to the many families and friends of America for your support of our mission and the greatest air and space power the world has ever known. Ladies and gentlemen, Colonel Christopher Force will now address the graduating class.
Good morning and welcome. It is an honor to stand in front of you today, to be with you, and to welcome our nation's newest airmen and guardians to the force, but especially all the families and friends joining us today for this special occasion. 7.5 weeks ago, you entrusted us with your loved ones, your daughters, your sons, your brothers, and your sisters. So I want to take this opportunity to say thank you for your support and encouragement, but more importantly, thank you for your trust. Thank you for your trust in the Air Force, thank you for your trust in the basic military training, and thank you for your trust in your nation. It is my great honor to introduce the 601 airmen and 46 guardians, the 326 Training Squadron of our nation's newest airmen and guardians. In many ways, it's easy to see today as an ending in terms of basic military training, and that is the case, and we should be thankful in that and proud of your accomplishments. But in many ways, it's simply the end of the beginning, and there's an exciting journey to come. As I look back at my 28 years ago this summer, actually, going through a very similar program in Colorado Springs, there are a couple things that stand out as far as what it takes to not only make it through basic training, but what an amazing journey you're going to overcome and the journey you're about to embark upon for your 20 or 30 years of service, whether or not it's 2 years or a full 20 or 30 years. The friendships, the trust, the ability to serve our nation is a sacred honor. And so I thank you, each and every one of you standing before me today, for taking that oath that we're about to take shortly together and for stepping up. I know personally, from the family perspective, how hard it is to let go, put them on a plate. So I say thank you for doing that for our service, for our nation. The friendships that you have made in these last 7.5 weeks will carry you through the Air Force. My best friend in life today, I started this journey with me 28 years ago. And we culminated this journey shortly in the Pentagon and in the White House. And these are things that you will take with you for the rest of your lives. So I've got 3 simple observations and 1 question for you. First, be there for each other. Lift each other up. Make each other better. A former squadron commander of mine says that steel sharpens steel. So do that. And be a good mutual supporter in your wingman. Embrace diversity and lifestyles all around you, and backgrounds and cultures, because that is truly what makes our Air Force and our Space Force great. Secondly, the nation needs each and every one of you. It truly does. As my generation and the generation before you were shaped a lot by 9/11, your generation will be shaped by a different challenge. And that challenge is how we compete with a rising China and an aggressive Russia. Our senior enlisted advisor for today, our senior enlisted Command Chief Ross, we had an opportunity to talk to senior leadership in the Air Force just a couple years ago. And one question the Vice Chief of Staff asked us is, how do I get every airman and guardian now to wake up every morning and think about how to compete against China and Russia today? So that's the question we were on. And competition does not have to be conflict. In fact, it should not be conflict. Competition does mean finding and embracing and building our enduring advantages. And that is why this loops back to you. The men and women about to assess today into our Air Force are our natural advantage. You truly are. And then finally, reflecting upon the core values that you've learned over the last 7.5 weeks and that you will embrace upon your Air Force career: service before self, or integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. So integrity first. Integrity is not always easy, but it's actually choosing the harder right over the easy or wrong. And it's also what we do when people aren't looking. And so as you're about to leave the cradle of basic military training today, that's something to reflect upon as you go out to your various tech schools, your various geographic locations. Service before self. That is the core of what we are here to embrace and the lifestyle we've chosen to live. Many different organizations articulate this in different ways. The Combat Search and Rescue Committee in the Air Force says, so that others may live. That's powerful. The Army talks about this in terms of this will defend, in terms of defending the nation. The service is the core essence of it, and that's what calls us together and it makes us a team. Which leads to the last part, excellence in all we do. Excellence is a personal goal which we strive to every day, but it's also something that comes from teamwork. And that's something I'm sure you've learned over the last 7.5 weeks, and certainly something I've learned over 20 years in uniform. As a young flight lead deploying to Afghanistan from Germany, flying in a blacked out airfield against the Taliban on night vision goggles and no other means of identifying the enemy except binoculars sometimes, our team was excellent. Individuals, we had challenges we worked in together. Our squadron was excellent. What we did over the last 6 months in Afghanistan was excellent. Because that's what calls us together as a team, is to be excellent and lift each other up. Because you make us all better. So then finally, one question. The women and men of the 326 Training Squadron. The one question I have for you is, are you ready to join the ranks of the world's greatest air and space forces?
Instructors, place your flights at attention. Instructors, place your flights at attention. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as Colonel Christopher Force will now administer the Oath of Enlistment.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. And that I will obey the orders of the President of the United States. And the orders of the officers appointed over me. According to regulations and the Uniform Code of Military Justice. So help me God. Congratulations, Airmen and Guardians.
Thank you, Colonel Christopher Force. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing while our graduates recite the Airman's Creed and remain standing for the departure of the official party. I am an American airman